Good evening, everyone. It's 6:30 p.m. We're going to call this meeting to order. Notice is hereby given that this is a regular meeting and public hearing of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, being held today, Thursday, September 24th, 2020, at 6:30 p.m. at Sandy Oaks City Hall, located at 4451 Hickory Haven, Sandy Oaks, Texas, 78112, which is being live streamed and accessible to the public for the purpose of considering the following agenda items. All agenda items are subject to action. In an effort to advance the public health goal of limiting face-to-face meetings, also called social distancing, to slow the spread of the coronavirus, COVID-19, there will be no in-person public access to the meeting. A recording of the telephonic meeting will be made and will be available to the public in accordance with the Texas Public Information Act upon request. We'll do a quorum call. Ms. Shelton, please.
Alderman Rapino.
Here.
Alderman Fillinger.
Here.
Alderman Tremblay.
Here.
Alderman Walker. Here. Alderman Puente. You do have a quorum. And we do also have City Attorney Cassandra Ortiz on Zoom.
Thank you. Let's all stand for Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3 on the agenda is a proclamation of the mayor recognizing Hispanic Heritage Month in the city. As everyone hopefully knows by now, Hispanic Heritage Month began on September 15th, runs for a full month through October 15th. And I'm going to read this proclamation. It says, whereas in 1968, the U.S. Congress authorized the observance of National Hispanic Heritage Week, and it was expanded in 1988 to a month-long celebration to honor our nation's Hispanic heritage. And whereas during this month, America celebrates the traditions, ancestry, and unique experiences of those who trace their roots to Spain, Mexico, the countries of Central and South America, and the Caribbean. And whereas Hispanic Americans have enriched the American way of life and their commitment to family and community have helped unite us as a people. Whereas we recognize Hispanic Americans who have served in the United States Armed Forces, earning distinguished military decorations for their courage and patriotism. Whereas the City of Sandy Oaks is proud to join communities across the United States in honoring Hispanic Americans whose leadership and achievements have significantly contributed to the progress of America. And whereas it is the diversity of our community that makes Sandy Oaks great, and we are proud of the many Hispanic Americans whose active involvement in our businesses, schools, churches, civic clubs, and local government is vital to our success. Now, therefore, I, Mickey Ball, Mayor of City of Sandy Oaks, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2020 as National Hispanic Heritage Month, encouraging all Sandy Oaks residents to help celebrate our rich Hispanic heritage and culture and recognize the important role of Hispanic people in creating and building our community and great nation. And then it says passed and approved on the 24th day of September 2020. I know with the coronavirus, I'm not aware of any public activities that are going on around the county in support of this. I did find a great site that kind of gives some virtual options to explore some events, or not events, but some museums and different activities that may be of interest to people who choose to do that. Okay, item 4, Ms. Shelton, did we have citizens to be heard?
No, we did not.
Okay, we will move on to item number 5. All right, item 5, consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered routine by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. Is my microphone? Yeah. Staticky? I think it's the battery. Yeah, I'll trade it. Okay, we'll continue. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. We have 3 items on the consent agenda. The first is to approve the August 2020 City Attorney Invoice number 1255 from Cassana and Ortiz, not to exceed $3,255. Item B, approve the minutes from the September 10th, 2020 regular City Council meeting. And item C, approve Resolution 2020-121, approving an agreement with the law firm of Lindbarger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson LLP as special counsel to perform all legal services necessary to collect delinquent property taxes and authorizing the execution of such agreement. Ms. Shelton, did we get the minutes? Okay, we will pull item B. Does anyone wish to discuss any other item on the consent agenda? And I will entertain a motion for.
Move to approve consent agenda items A and C.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by Alderman Rapino to approve consent agenda items A and C. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. And we will move on to item 6. Ms. Ortiz, question for you. I need to call a time when we go into this public hearing, is that correct?
Yeah, start a beginning time and then the ending time of the public hearing.
It is 6:38 p.m. Public hearing to consider the proposed tax rate to support the budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. This time is provided for citizens to address the mayor and council on the proposed tax rate to support the 2020-2021 fiscal year budget, which proposed rate is 0.291976 on each $100 valuation on property. Persons wishing to speak during the hearing may sign up with the city clerk at least 2 hours in advance of the meeting by emailing the city clerk or calling City Hall. Please limit your time to a period not to exceed 3 minutes. Did we have any emails?
We did not.
Okay, do we have anybody who is on the call who wants to ask a question?
No, ma'am, we don't.
Okay. Well, then this will conclude the public hearing portion of the meeting, and it is 6:39 p.m. We'll move on to item 7 under administration. Item A, discuss and or possible action on ordinance 2020-173, adopting and levying ad valorem taxes for the use and support of the municipal government for the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2020 and ending September 30th, 2021, not to exceed 0.291976 on each $100 valuation of property, providing for apportioning each levy for specific purposes, providing when taxes shall become due and when same shall be delinquent if not paid, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. So you have the ordinance here in front of you, and I'm sorry, I said ordinance, resolution. Yes. So the total tax rate that will be assessed, we did have the road bond that was approved and is included in this budget. But from a taxing perspective, property owners will only see one tax rate, and that'll be this amount. The amounts will be split out. If you look on the second page, the M&O piece, maintenance and operation, is going to be 0.244474. And the INS, the interest and sinking fund, will be 0.047502. And the combined value of the two of those equals that 0.291976.
I'm asked a question on section 4.
Yes.
Are those dates correct?
Yes. Well,
Should
the
we-
taxes are levied in October, but they're not due until January.
Yes, but this is for following tax year, right?
Remember, property taxes are assessed on a calendar year. We operate in a fiscal year.
We might want to clarify that on call at least, because I've already received my statement for my taxes that are due in December. So if this is due on January 31st, 2021, which is the upcoming January, that means my taxes will be changing in
You've
December.
already received a,
Yeah.
not a bill. You couldn't have received a bill.
My escrow fund already received the bill.
I doubt it was a bill. It was probably a notice. Everyone gets a notice of assessment at this time. The bills won't come out until October.
If they're not paid.
So whatever we received on the, see, I got a statement in back in May, but they received
No, that was
one
your,
this month.
Yeah.
your appraisal. When you
Yeah,
got
yeah.
by May, it's your appraised value.
Yeah, the escrow fund got one this
And
month.
the
I was
escrow
just
normally
notified
pays
this
your
week.
taxes.
My point is that citizens need to be aware that whatever their estimate was that they received is now going to be different.
It is going to be their bill. And so what happened after we had our last meeting? Catherine, do you recall what date it was? The 14th or 17th? We had to have a copy of our resolution for what the proposed tax rate was going to be. We told them at that time we weren't having this meeting until today. So they have kind of an advance notice of what the rates were going to be. That's probably what they received as part of the notice of assessment.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else have any questions? So what we will have to do on this one, if I'm not mistaken, is there is a motion. And we make a motion on each of the components. So everyone should have this, or whoever wants to. You know, before we move on, there's some language in here that's a little different than what we've seen in the past, and this is one of the things I struggled with for budgeting this year, is in the past, you had something that was called a rollback tax. It's not called that anymore. Now it's called a new revenue. So a lot of the terminology changed. There was Senate Bill 2 that kind of drove this whole change, and there's a lot of reporting requirements, different worksheet that we work from, there's a truth and taxation website at Bear County that all of the cities, their 5-year history of their tax rates for all the various components. This is all new and different this year. So it's been a bit of a struggle for everyone trying to equate how did we do it last year? What do we call it? What do we call it this year? So a rollback, or in this case, a no new revenue rate, is the maximum amount of assessed taxation that we can approve without bringing it before the voters. And that is the rate that we're approving here. I know that the M&O piece did go up just a hair, not very much, went from 0.238 to 0.244. That was just, I honestly didn't want to give up the maximum because we're now under the 3.5% ceiling where we had an 8% in previous years. So if you don't if you don't assess what the voters have already approved, you don't have any way to make that up in a future year if you don't take advantage of it this year. And it was a very slight amount, so wasn't too terribly concerned about that.
Okay, I'll make a motion on the tax rate. I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.291976 on each $100 valuation of property, which is effectively a 4.78% increase in the tax rate, and such rate be adopted by ordinance 2020-173.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Rapino and a second by Alderman Fillinger to approve the tax rate as presented. We will take a record vote on this one. So as I call your name, please say yay or nay. Mayor Pro Tem Thomas Rapino.
Yay.
Alderman Place 1 Charles Fillinger.
Yay.
Alderman Place 2 David Tremblay.
Yay.
Alderman Place 4 CJ Walker.
Yay.
Alderman Place 5 Jennifer Puente.
Yay.
Okay. The next one would be a motion on the M&O component of the tax rate. So M&O is our basic maintenance and operations. Basically what we've been using in all years prior to this. So nothing really has changed on that, what that entails.
All right, move to approve the city council, that we approve the ordinance adopting tax rate of 0.244474 on each $100 valuation of property to be used for the maintenance and support of general government of the city of Sandy Oaks for the 2020-2021 fiscal year on all property, real, personal, mixed within the corporate limits of said city, subject to taxation and such tax rate be adopted by ordinance 2020-173.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by Alderman Rapino to approve the adopting the tax rate for the M&O portion of our total tax rate. Again, we'll do a record vote on this one. As I call your name, please say yay or nay. Mayor Pro Tem Thomas Rapino.
Yay.
Alderman Place 1 Charles Fillinger.
Yay.
Alderman Place 2 David Tremblay.
Yay.
Alderman Place 4 CJ Walker.
Yay.
Alderman Place 5 Jennifer Puente.
Yay.
Thank you. Okay, and then there's one last piece that has to do with the INS, which is interest in sinking fund, and this is specific to the road bond. And the the tax rate that was set on that one was 0.047502.
I move that the city council approve an ordinance adopting a tax of 0.047502 on each $100 valuation of property to be used for the interest and sinking fund, and that such tax rate be adopted by ordinance 2020-173.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Walker to approve the INS tax rate. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Alderman Rapino. Again, we'll do a record vote. So when I call your name, please say yay or nay. Mayor Pro Tem Thomas Rapino.
Yay.
Alderman Place 1 Charles Fillinger.
Yay.
Alderman Place 2 David Tremblay.
Yay.
Alderman Place 4 CJ Walker.
Yay.
Alderman Place 5 Jennifer Puente.
Yay.
Okay. And then I think we need to approve the resolution. Is that correct, Cassandra? I'm sorry,
You already approved the tax rate, so you could approve the ordinance as a whole.
Yeah.
Or as it's stated in the caption title of the ordinance.
so we need to approve the ordinance.
I move to approve ordinance 2020-173.
Read the caption, please.
Oh, you want me to read the caption? An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, adopting and levying an ad valorem tax for the use and support of the municipal government of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2020 and ending September 30th, 2021, providing for the adoption of each levying for septic specific some people might buy that purposes, providing when taxes shall become due and when same shall be delinquent if not paid, and establishing a percentage of uncollectible taxes, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
I'll second that motion.
Yes, you do. So we have a motion by Alderman Tremblay to approve ordinance number 2020-173.
You changed my name.
What did I call you this time?
Tremblay.
Start over. We have a motion by Alderman Rupino and a second by Alderman Fillinger to approve ordinance number 2020-173. Do we need a record vote on this one, Ms. Ortiz?
You see it on the tax rate, but since it's the ordinance as a whole, and y'all have been doing record votes, the record vote would be
Okay, we'll do a
consistent.
record vote again. So we will start at the beginning. I'm going to call your name and please say yay or nay. Alderman, Mayor Pro Tem Rupino.
Here, yay. No.
I don't recall that being an option, but okay. Mayor Pro Tem, I'm sorry. Oh, ooh, this one's bad. Alderman Place 1, Charles Fillinger.
Yay.
Look on page 2. Alderman Place 2, David Tremblay.
Yay.
Alderman Place 4.
Walter.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'll tell you later. Alderman Place 4, CJ Walker. And Alderman Place 5, Jennifer Puente.
Yay.
Okay. The yeas have it. That motion carries. And I scribbled all over your nice clean copy.
Where?
No, no, that's
my
not-
copy.
Oh,
Okay.
that's mine.
Oh. Okay, so we'll move on now to item 7A. I'm sorry, we already did that one. 7B. We have, I do have a question before we do this. Ms. Ortiz, may I read all of the executive session pieces and then can we do those together or must we do one break, come back, do another break, come back? That's what I'm thinking.
Cassandra?
Yeah.
I think we have. Yeah. Did we lose it?
There she is.
Aha.
Sorry, my internet was unstable for a while. What was can y'all repeat the question? Was it about the executive sessions and taking them all
was.
up at one time?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can take them all up at one time. Just read both items for the executive session and then call the time that you close the public or the open meeting and go into the executive session.
Okay. Okay, item 7B, executive session to deliberate the employment, compensation, hours, duties, benefits, and start date for the public works employee pursuant to Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, as it pertains to personnel matters. Item B, executive session to deliberate pay adjustments for ACO Chris Maldonado and City Secretary Catherine Yelton for wage leveling purposes pursuant to Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, as it pertains to personnel matters. It is 6:56 p.m. We will adjourn to executive session and we will return. Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, it is 7:42 p.m., 7:43 p.m. We're going to resume our regular meeting. We are on item 7D, which is discuss and or possible action on the employment, compensation, hours, duties, benefits, and start date for the public works employee. This is brought by Alderman Tremblay and Alderman Rapino.
Yes, ma'am. First, I'd like to make an offer. That said, I would move that we set the compensation for Parks public work employee at $15.25 an hour, with duty hours as set by the city, not to exceed 40 hours per week. The duties and benefits would be explained through the employee handbook and discussed with new employee orientation with the mayor.
At that time, we'll go over the benefits and make sure you understand all the job description. Okay.
So the motion was for $15.25 an hour.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Alderman Tremblay, a second by Alderman Rapino to set the compensation at $15.25 an hour, the hours to be 40 hours per week. And then I will meet with Ms. Schmidt to go over the benefits and the duties.
Start date is immediate,
The start date is immediate, which would be in the morning,
25 September.
9:25. Okay, so we have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Welcome aboard. Item 7E, discuss and or possible action on pay adjustments for ACO Chris Maldonado and City Secretary Catherine Yelton for wage leveling purposes. We'll do these each individually. So we'll do motions individual for each of them. Let's do ACO Chris Maldonado first.
Yes, ma'am, I believe that we should raise Mr. Maldonado's wages, and I would move that we raise it to $16 an hour.
I'll second that.
Effective when is the next pay period begin?
How about if I just say, beginning with the beginning of the next
Of the next.
wage week?
Okay, that'll work. So we have a motion from Alderman Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino to raise the hourly rate for ACO Maldonado to $16 an hour effective with the next payroll beginning date. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. And let's move on to the city clerk.
I'll make a motion to raise the pay of Mrs. Yelton to $16 an hour effective with the next wage week.
Okay, was that Jennifer?
Hey,
We have a motion by Alderman Rapino and a second by Alderman Puente to increase the hourly rate for the city clerk, Ms. Shelton, to $16 an hour, effective with the next payroll beginning date. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Okay. And that leaves item 8, which is, it is 7:48 p.m. and we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Ortiz.
All right, everyone.
Have a great one.
Good night.